Welcome back to Echoes and Paths. I'm glad you're here with me, whether you're tuning in from a quiet corner, walking down a busy street, or just searching for something real. I'm your host, and today we're getting into a topic that feels both strangely personal and oddly universal: letting go of perfection. It's one of those things that sounds so straightforward, but ask anyone who's chased it and you'll get a lifetime's worth of stories. So let's settle in and unpack it together. If you're anything like me, you grew up hearing messages about aiming high, doing your best, striving to be first. Maybe it was bring back an A or just try to make it perfect. At first, that push feels like motivation. You want to do well, right? You work hard to get things just right. The big speech, the clean house, the perfect reply to a message, even that Instagram post with the right filter. But somewhere along the way, the voice whispering, "Make it perfect," gets louder. Suddenly, instead of pushing you forward, it starts weighing you down. I definitely know that feeling. I remember this one time, actually, more than once. But let me tell you about one that really stands out. There was a little school project, nothing special, just a poster to celebrate Independence Day. I had my colored markers, rulers lined up, everything penciled in. But every time I made a tiny mistake, a letter too big, a small smudge, I would toss it aside and start again. I probably used up half the art paper in the house. It was frustrating. What's funny is, the final poster, the one I finally submitted, wasn't even my neatest work. I ran out of time and just went with what I had. But here's the punchline. My teacher loved it, smudges and all. What stuck with me wasn't the grade. It was that the thing I saw as imperfect was actually good. Maybe even better because it looked genuine. That moment comes to mind every time I catch myself getting stuck, trying to make things flawless. There's this thing about perfection. It's sneaky. It can disguise itself as working hard or I just care a lot. But underneath, it usually means we're scared. Scared of failing, scared of being laughed at, sometimes scared of people knowing we're not as put together as we want them to think. So we keep editing, practicing, checking, tweaking, until hours are gone. And that excitement for a new idea feels more like anxiety about the results. Think about that for a second. How many times have you not started something because you felt your idea wasn't ready? Or stopped halfway because you couldn't get it right? Maybe you rehearsed your answer in your head a dozen times before speaking up, and by the time you were ready, the conversation had moved on. What's wild is, almost everyone feels like this at some point. You see people who look like they've got it all figured out online, but most of us are just stumbling along, doing our best. The big names, the people you admire, they have stories of things blowing up in their face too. I once read that the founder of Spanx, Sarah Blakely, said her dad used to ask her, "What did you fail at today?" He saw failure not as something to fear, but as proof that you were trying new things. That completely flips the script, doesn't it? When you look closer, real progress is messy. Creativity loves a bit of chaos. Great athletes, they mess up drills, they get things wrong, they miss shots. Writers pile up drafts and rewrite paragraphs. Even tech geniuses launch imperfect products, fix things as they go. But what they all have in common isn't perfection. It's a willingness to keep moving, even when things are bumpy or unfinished. This is where I'm starting to realize just how liberating it is to let go, even a little. Not in the sense of being careless, not let everything slide, but learning to separate high standards from impossible standards. You don't have to beat yourself up every time a plan falls apart. You don't always have to get everything right the first time. Sometimes good enough really is enough. So, how do you make that shift? It's not magic. It's 1,000 tiny, everyday decisions. Maybe it's sending the text even if your grammar isn't perfect, or turning in an assignment even if there's one rough spot. Maybe it's letting yourself rest when you need it instead of grinding away at something that isn't working. For me, it looks like pressing publish on something I've worked on, even if a part of my brain wants one more rewrite. There's a thought I keep coming back to. Our imperfections make us human. They're what allow us to connect. Imagine if every conversation was perfectly worded, every photo flawless. How boring would that be? It's the imperfect moments, the unplanned laughter, the slip-ups during a speech, the messy drawings stuck on the fridge. That really makes stories worth remembering. And it helps to look at the bigger story. Life, especially in a busy place like Lagos or Anywhere people are hustling to make it moves fast. If we get carried away by trying to be perfect, honestly, there's a risk we might miss the things that really matter. Friends, family, little victories, the beauty in starting again. You don't have to be perfect to be proud of yourself. You just have to keep showing up. That's not always easy, especially when you care. And there will be days when you slide back into old habits, rereading, rewriting, overthinking. That's normal. The trick is noticing it, taking a breath, and doing the next small thing anyway. The first step is just admitting, okay, I'm stuck on making this perfect, but what happens if I just let it be enough? It might surprise you. Sometimes the world embraces your effort more than your results. The courage to show up, to finish, to share your work, opens doors that trying to be flawless never could. What strikes me about all this is, the more you practice letting go of perfection, the easier it becomes. Your confidence grows, not because you never mess up, but because you realize it's okay when you do. So if you're listening right now and you're worrying over something, school, work, your art, even just being a good friend, maybe let yourself off the hook, just a little. Try aiming for real over perfect, progress over polish, human over flawless. That's the heartbeat of Echoes and Paths, embracing where you are on the journey, messes and all. Thanks for sharing these moments with me. I hope something here gives you a little nudge to let go, try new things, and give yourself a break when it matters most. Until next time, stay kind to yourself, keep moving forward, and remember, real stories are never perfect, but they are always worth sharing.